Hi folks, welcome to Follow the Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories with the use of GM-less tabletop games, where we can all take the lead. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at FTLcast. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/FTLcast. Today we're playing Kubrick, a post-adaption game by Ben Auden Roswell. For those of you who are new to this game, here are the basics. You've been asked to adapt a text to a brand new format, to elevate it beyond what it once was, and so your collaborators gather at a table, literal or metaphorical, and you begin to talk. You ask each other questions, what-ifs and whos and whys, and with confidence you raise your voice to answer. You do not worry about original intent. You toss fidelity out the window. Instead, you take on the role of authors, designers, cinematographers, actors, and auteurs. You have wrested control of narrative you once observed, and you intend to do what you wish with it. After all, in order to adapt, you must be willing to commit betrayal. I'm Sam. You can find me on Twitter at SAKalo, and I don't have anything else to plug today. And my pronouns are he, him. Playing with me today, we have...
I'm Ben Roswell. I use he, him pronouns, and you can find this game and other games I've written at roswellians.itch.io, and follow me on Twitter at Roswell Writes. I forgot my Twitter handle for 20 seconds.
You're valid.
Hello, I'm Zachary Frederickson. My pronouns are he, him, and you can find me on Twitter at obfuscatinggod. It is a testament to my hubris.
Congratulations on Homestuck 2.
Yeah, it's my old Tester Chum handle. Don't put that in the episode.
That absolutely has to go in the episode. Don't cut that out.
Homestuck 2! God.
Homestuck 2, the sequel to Homestuck.
The Homestuckening.
I saw a post once that Hussey truly doesn't know how to end a story, and nothing is more true than that.
It's true.
Problem Sleuth was a fluke, and he will never stop writing.
Yep.
I have no idea what any of those words mean.
I mean, he's not really writing Homestuck 2, so...
He isn't, no.
He's outlining it, yeah, apparently. You know, it's a cultural tour de force, you know.
Yes, I staffed at AX during the peak of its years.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I apologize.
It's something.
Oh, the halcyon days of 2012.
Really, we brought this to pass because we started a trans-only Homestuck reread group. And then 3 weeks later,
it's a summoning circle.
3 weeks later, there was Homestuck 2.
All right. Before we get too far, my name's Mab. You can find me on Twitter at Little Lady Mab, and elsewhere there's links around. Take your poison. My pronouns are she, her. Now we can go. Now we can go for real.
Off to the races.
Our lines, things we absolutely do not want to see, are homophobia and transphobia, racism, sexism, violence against children and animals, sexual assault, domestic violence, or intimate partner violence, unwanted pregnancy, magically perfect gender transition, or magically perfect disability solving. Our veils, things we're fine with addressing but we'll just fade to black on, are steamy situations, graphic descriptions of bodily harm, and terminal illness. Now that we've got all that, let's get started.
And then the theme music goes.
Yeah. I like how both of us were like, and that's when the intro goes on.
And then I started dancing, but you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Dice rolls, cards shuffle.
Our intro music is good.
Hell yeah.
We should do a gospel version. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Ben, if you wanted to talk about your game.
Yeah.
Yes, please tell us about your game.
So, we're going to be playing Kubrick, which is named after Stanley Kubrick, which I think I might be the only person in the world who's like, yes, let's just naming something I was on my bullshit when I wrote this game.
It's a very snazzily designed PDF.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of the PDF design on this one, TBH.
It is extremely snazzy.
Yeah, so specifically, the reason that this is named Kubrick is because it is based on the adaptation style of Stanley Kubrick. It may not seem obvious, but Stanley Kubrick's movies were only ever based on books. He never produced a non-adapted movie. And so the way that he would adapt things is that the script was never set. He would write a script, but it would change day to day on the movie set. But his first step was always inviting people whose like brains he admired out to his house to talk through a script in a sort of like semi-Socratic seminar sort of way. And then those like people would accompany him all the way through the filming of the movie. So that he was always having conversations about textual meaning and what he could bring to a text, even as he was filming scene after scene after scene. Most of The Shining was written and rewritten on set with the help of a couple of English professors. And he's pretty famous for having for wanting to take text that he feels he can elevate. And in almost every case, he ended up producing what we come to think of as the definitive idea of that text. Like The Shining, Barry Lyndon, Eyes Wide Shut, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like, all of those were books first, but
we don't think of the book when we think of them, we think of his movies.
Exactly.
You think of Jack Nicholson with an axe.
Mm-hmm. A Clockwork Orange, too. Like, he developed that really definitive, like, imagery. And he developed all the language for Clockwork Orange and stuff, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to write a game that encourages people to do the same thing with text in our world. So it's, in this game, we're going to come and we're going to sit and we're going to, like, talk through and redesign and hopefully make a better version of a text that we all know. And this game uses the word text really liberally as a sort of word to stand in for any source material. So that's sort of like the background and history of this game. The way it plays is basically just talking. There's a bunch of questions we have to ask each other as we get set up, and then Mab has made a wonderful walkthrough of our story's plot, and as we walk through it, some of us will take on the roles of characters, and we'll ask each other questions until we feel like we've told a good story.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Does maybe somebody else want to talk about what story we're talking about today?
I've got it. No, I was going to sing the song.
Oh.
And then I got nervous. So never mind.
I don't remember how the first song goes.
No, it wasn't going to be that song. It was going to be the character song.
The characters? There's a lot of characters.
Was it Go the Distance?
Zero to Hero?
No. You know, I can go my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Go the Distance. I was right.
I was suddenly very nervous about my ability to hit those notes at 11 a.m.
Oh, a mood.
Yeah. So valid.
So yeah, there's probably a better way to say that we're doing Hercules.
Disney's 1995 smash hit Hercules?
1997.
Oh, damn.
Wait, when did 1997 did this come out?
This came out on June 15th at the New Amsterdam Theater, and June 27th for the rest of the United States.
Damn, so it's not... I was gonna be like, oh, maybe it was released the same month I was born. But no, it's older than me.
Oh my god, a baby.
It is just a little... I was 4 years old when this came out.
I was 1 year old when this came out, because I was born in 96.
Actually, I was 3 because it had not yet hit July, which is when I was born.
I was just 1 year old, because I was born in June.
I feel so old.
All right, I'm warmed up now. Let's
All right.
talk about
Let's fucking do
Disney's Hercules. the 1997 American animated musical fantasy comedy film. It's a lot of adjectives. That's what Wikipedia says. The 35th Disney animated feature film, the 8th animated film produced by the Disney Renaissance. Directed by Ron Clements and John Musker, loosely based on the legendary hero Heracles, known in the film by his Roman name Hercules, the son of Zeus in Greek mythology.
The son of Greek.
It actually, the development of Hercules started in 1992 following a pitch adaptation of the Heracles mythological stories by animator Joe Halder. Meanwhile, Ron Clements and John Musker redeveloped their idea for Treasure Planet following the critical and commercial success of Aladdin. I can just keep reading Wikipedia, but I should probably stop.
You know, I was going to suggest we should do Treasure Planet, but I didn't.
Treasure Planet slaps.
It's been too long since I've seen Treasure Planet to, remember what happened to it.
And I've seen Hercules 6 dozen times.
I have them as downloads. I could have uploaded them for you. I also own the DVD.
I didn't manage to rewatch Hercules before we started this. I wouldn't have watched Treasure Planet either.
All right.
Let's get talking about our feelings about Hercules.
Yeah, I remember liking it.
It's a good movie.
Am I the only one who rewatched it?
I watched it 2 weeks ago for some unrelated reason. So
that counts.
I watched it a dozen times as a kid.
Same, yeah.
I own it on DVD.
I own it on not DVD. I own it on VHS tape.
Oh boy, you win.
I don't have a way to watch it on VHS, but I do own it. It's in the basement in a box somewhere.
Yeah, so what is step one aside from my beautiful rambling outline that takes up 3 fucking pages?
So, the first thing we do in Kubrick is, it's called, in the text, it's called setting a baseline. The idea is that, we've all watched this movie at different points in time and have different feelings on it. And so we are just going to set out a couple of, goals for our adaptation and talk about what we feel like Hercules has to have in order to still be Hercules. Because even though this is an adaptation, we're probably going to go wildly off track.
Mm-hmm.
We still...
we're going to make it about lesbians immediately, right?
Oh, yeah, weren't they in the first That But Lesbians zine?
Oh, fucking probably.
Probably. I hope so. Listen, everyone in ancient Greece was gay, and if they say otherwise, they're lying to you.
Yep.
So, this game comes with a list of questions. The first two are, what is the plot of the source text, and who are the characters in this text? We're going to skip that today, because this is a podcast, and Mab has wonderfully made us a plot diagram that we can use. But then the next question is, what feelings does this work evoke? What strikes you as the tone? Each collaborator should add at least 2 feelings or tone words to the list. So this is okay, what do we like about the tone of Hercules?
It's hopeful.
It's fun.
It's also fun.
It's okay, so it is hopeful.
All right, I'm adding it to the end of the doc. I love hopeful.
Yeah, it's rollicking,
fun and rollicking.
Mm-hmm.
I love how satirical it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely this is it's such a weird movie because Hades is a car salesman, and Hercules gets
Hercules is a himbo.
Hercules is a himbo.
He gets merch.
He goes from twink to himbo, just like that. I'm sorry.
I think it's interesting that despite him becoming like a huge financial and commercial and critical success, it's more about his it's not about the merchandise, man. It's about the music.
It has always been about him. He's I've got a goal I'm trying to achieve, and so I'm going to do everything to achieve that goal, and everything else is just the side benefits.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's interesting that it draws the line of heroics not to being. The line is not is like well known. The line is a hero.
Mm-hmm. Right, like what makes a hero.
Yeah.
I also love the mile-a-minute references to anything Greek mythology.
Also, literally anything and everything.
Literally anything and everything, yeah.
Not just Greek mythology, but all sorts of other random shit that they decided to reference in this Disney movie about Hercules.
It's literally just like, okay, they're literally like making fun of Disney too the whole time, especially with all the commercialization.
Oh, it's two rodents looking for a theme park.
Did that happen?
Yes. When Meg was leaving the River Guardian after meeting Hercules, she runs across a chipmunk and a rabbit, and it's Pain and Panic, but she's like, look, two rodents looking for a theme park.
Right.
You did watch this movie yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes.
No, I'm just like, wow, you're remembering like very specific parts of the movie that like anybody who didn't just watch it would not remember.
No, literally. Okay, you underestimate how much I've watched this movie also.
That's true, yeah.
All right, I think I'm gonna put, for what we just talked about, I think I'm gonna put Irreverent down on the list. But not,
for sure.
And not irreverent in the way that like, haha, Family Guy's irreverent, but like, they don't care that they're making fun of like their parent company or New York, or like, it's kind of like everybody. I just think that fits.
It's like playfully irreverent in a loving way, I feel like.
Yeah, like, I guess it's like what I was thinking more is that like it doesn't care about the myth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it cares about the myth in that it's telling the story of Hercules, and it is actually really kind to Hercules as a figure, but it doesn't like, but we're in fantasy New York. And
we're in the Big Olive.
Any and every character in Greek mythology will be turned into whatever they need to make the next joke.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that.
Great. So we have a bunch of words now. So now we get to ask the next question, which is, what are images that stand out from your source text? Each collaborator name one.
Images that stand out?
Yeah, like what sticks in your memory? Like, what are things, like, it doesn't have to be images.
In like the ending when Hercules is like swimming through the river and like gets his like super strength back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's an image that really stuck with me. Like, that's what I sort of think of when I think about, like, images that stick with me in Hercules, you know?
I get you.
I always super love the Hydra fight.
Hydra fight's a hell of a thing.
And the music.
Well,
I mean, the music, yes.
The music. I love, like, honest to God, I just love a good training montage. Like...
Oh, it's good, yeah.
That one's coupled with the music, and it's great.
Images that stand out, right? That's what it is?
Yeah.
The thing that I think about a lot with Hercules is him knocking things over and fucking shit up on accident.
Mm-hmm.
That's also good, yes.
That's honestly the bit of Hercules that I find relatable.
Yeah, it's endearing.
As I'm a very big person, and so like having to be gentle and like small in the world, and like being afraid of breaking things or scaring people is like a big mood for me.
Huh. I like that.
Yeah. Hercules like, oh no, I used only like I leaned on a thing and knocked over a building. Is an exaggeration of that, but I still find it relatable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's pretty relatable for me as well.
I don't find it relatable in the sense of like having to watch my strength or size or whatever, because I'm like tiny and very weak, but I do find it relatable in the sense of being like exceptionally clumsy, just because of my disability stuff.
Yeah. For me, it just like, it's again not so much physical, but like about being a trans man with a loud voice.
Oh yeah.
In a room, and always like the whole respectability politics of being trans masculine. I mean, being trans
can relate.
Being trans of any kind is respectability politics, but there's a particular kind of...
There's a brand of it.
There's a specific brand of it that means that, like, you just can't fuck things up, but you do.
Of course you do. You're human.
So that's pretty damn relatable.
Mood.
Okay, so the next question, and then we're gonna be done with the setting a baseline section. Is the last question is, what are things at work in the text? What setting elements, forces, or groups drive the narrative forward?
There's Hades.
Yep. I would also say that there's the force of commercialization.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna make this anti-capitalist if we.
Hell yeah.
There's no better way to make.
Go on.
No, make is the end of the word. There's no better way to create than to do so anti-capitalistly.
Agreed. Fuck capitalism.
Go home. That's a reference for me and me alone.
Oh, me too. I think also like the I don't know how to say it, like the world of the gods,
the pantheon.
Yeah, the pantheon's business.
It's a very Sins of the Father kind of thing with the whole Hades and Zeus and Hades is pissed off because
what I like, this is not quite on topic, but it reminded me of it. Like, all of the other gods all glow and are all brightly colored, and Hades doesn't glow the same way that all the others do.
Yeah.
He does not.
He's very, like... I mean, he's like, his head is on fire, but, like...
His head's on fire. Whoa, is my hair out?
Damn.
Played by James Wooden, the only good thing he's ever done. Yeah, no, he's like, for being made of fire, he is kind of like down to earth in a way that the other gods aren't.
Yeah.
What's that word? Chthonic? Of the earth?
Chthonic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or I always read it as chthonic, but chthonic probably is right.
That's Greek for you. And it's a way that's like, symbolizing like of the earth, but like literally from beneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
From the depths of it and so on.
Yes. Like as a foil to Olympian, which is like up above.
Mm-hmm.
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 I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the truth is that all all stories about demigods are actually daddy issue stories.
It's true. It's true.
Like, one of my first points on this list is like, wait, Hera's his mom and she's nice? Question mark? Like, Zeus and Hera as a loving couple sounds fake.
Yup.
Sounds like a nuclear family propaganda.
Yeah, they were afraid to portray Zeus as being
Zeus.
The way that he was.
Yeah, so they just had a very boisterous, like, jock dad Zeus.
Which, TBH, kind of dig it.
He's a very endearing Zeus in this one.
The only time Zeus was ever an endearing character and not just, like, an extremely horny old man.
Yeah. Listen, you know what? I can't unsee, I think it was a Tumblr post, and it was just like, this is what Zeus would look like without his beard. And it was just...
Oh, no! I hate it.
But, like, in context where he goes up to Hercules, he's like, oh, look, you have my strong chin. And then I just thought of that Tumblr post, and I'm like, I hate this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that post is something else.
Yeah.
That's the worst. I don't like that. I don't want to have to think about that.
So what else is necessary for it? Things at work in the text.
I think there's something internal, which is like people's drive to do good. Is that work in this text?
Yeah.
Like, even Megara, who is quote unquote evil, as many quotes as I can put into that. Like, everybody in this text, I think even sort of Hades, kind of wants to do what they see as right, even if what they see as right is like
taking over the entirety of Olympus. Yeah,
I'm not saying that's right, but like Hades
feels like scorn.
He wants to right a wrong.
Yeah,
even if he's really fucking bad at it.
Yeah,
he's doing his best.
Is he?
Is he?
I mean, his best isn't, like, good, but he's still doing his best.
He's doing something.
Local man completely misreads every single situation.
Yes, that.
All right, so I think that we've got a good place to start, or like our understanding of the text. So now we move on to the second part of like the pre-play, which is called planning your planning your disruption.
Mm-hmm.
I like this bit of text, so I'm just gonna read it.
Totally.
Now that you have set your starting place, it's time to begin looking ahead at your adaptation. These questions will serve as a rough roadmap to the game ahead. You may find new paths, new landmarks, discover turns you want to take, but a map is a good place to start. Also take a moment here to note as a group, things you would rather not explore, we've already done that. And then discuss the following questions, then write answers somewhere everyone can see them.
Cool.
So the first question is, what from the original text do you wish to elevate, heighten, or enhance?
There's a few like really good visual moments. Like Sam had said, the river Styx, especially at the end. There is the Hydra fight, but like a lot of the scenery, like as I was watching it, I went back and I started looking through like Assassin's Creed Odyssey screen caps, because I really kind of like that visual, like the colorful visual aspect that is like, you know, Greece is an ancient world. But I really like to emphasize like the bigness and just like how densely populated but also how colorful a lot of the city was. And I understand that they used Thebes as a really like gray and dim place because it's like, oh, it's the world of mortals and it's apparently a New York equivalent, and I've been to New York like one day and it's a very colorful place, but like I want to be able to like emphasize that in the original text, because like a lot of the overhead shots and like the nature shots, especially on like Phil's Island, they're all very bright and colorful, and I like that. And I want to be able to like re-emphasize that and just like make it bigger.
Yeah, bring that into the city more.
Yeah, I love I really think that this is a very beautiful movie. I mean, it's like, I know we were joking about toe heads, but like when it gets its visuals right, it really gets it right.
Yeah.
Let me put that down on our list.
I feel like Meg maybe gets a raw deal in the original.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because she is not only like she's a damsel and a seductress in the same movie, and both of those are roles that define themselves almost entirely based on their relation to another character.
Yeah.
She doesn't super have, like...
She doesn't have a lot of agency.
Yeah, I mean, like, and the film, like, it plays at, like, oh, I'm a modern woman, I'm independent and sassy.
It plays at feminism, but it doesn't deliver.
Yeah.
I'm a big girl, I can tie my own sandals. I'm just gonna really just quote a lot of it, because I just watched it last night.
Yeah, totally. You're going to quote a lot of it because you need to prove to everybody that you watched it when we didn't.
No, that's what my entire outline is for.
You are shaming us for not having done our homework, and I approve.
I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I can handle it, that kind of thing.
That's an iconic line.
And then obviously he still saves her, and so it's like, oh.
It's like, funny. We're all feminists.
And like, I'm not saying that she should be like necessarily like a warrior or anything, but I think even her backstory is male centric, because it's like she was in love with a guy.
I would want to know how one sells their soul to Hades before saving. It's like, did she be like, he's gonna die, so I'll die in his place? Like, what exactly happened there?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's very vague. It's probably vague on purpose because they didn't care about going into it too much beyond, like, figuring out some way for her to be
indebted to Hades.
I think what I want to put down here is, like, Meg's interiority.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like, all your criticisms are right, but also at the same time, she does get a song that's about her feelings, which a lot of, like, love interests in Disney don't get.
Yeah. Like, I do want to preserve that. Like, I do want to preserve that she, like, is a really cool character, but, like, give her more agency.
See, yeah. So I think like the way to phrase that is like, yeah, we're gonna work to give her interiority and like make her decisions and her roles I don't want to say make sense, but have like emotional weight for her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that means I can put it under the things we want to emphasize. So,
you know what confused me about Megara is that she's named Megara, and there's actually another figure in Greek mythology named Megaera, which she just has an E in her name, and she's one of the Furies.
Mm.
Why didn't they explore that more?
Yeah, what if
she was a Fury?
What if she was a Fury?
What if she turned into a Fury? That'd be so cool.
Yeah. Well, so my most recent brush with Greek mythology is in the Supergiant's roguelite action game Hades, where Megara is a boss. She's the boss of the first dungeon, the first area, and she is dope. I put an image of her in the thing.
Yes.
Oh hell yeah!
Supergiant is so good. I love Supergiant.
Yeah, the art in that game is fantastic, and Hades is really interested in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, very different kind of person. I did want to point. I did want to at least gesture to that character in the discussion, if not in the execution, as like a potential like route. Because there was a Megara who was the Princess of Thebes, who was the daughter, the wife of Hercules in myth, and there's also Megara the Fury.
Didn't he kill that wife?
I think so.
I think so. He went mad and killed her.
As they always do.
Fun facts about Greek mythology.
Sometimes you just know shit about Greek mythology and you gotta share.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's something to put on our hiding list. I think that we should make this mythological.
More mythological, did you say?
Yeah. Like, we're all people who had the big book of Greek mythology things as a kid.
Yep.
Listen, here's the thing. This movie, as it stands, is Superman.
Yeah.
Damn, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a long pause. Yeah.
It even, like, sort of lampshades that a little bit, too. Like, it's sort of like...
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, Alchemy and our Tiferion or whatever are just Ma and Pa Kent in this one.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
Damn.
A baby spirited away from his home.
Drops onto your front yard.
Connected in some way to a cataclysm. In Superman's case, it's the destruction of Krypton. In his case, it's the prophesized releasement of the Titans. Raised as a normal human being for the beginning of his life until he discovers his unnatural abilities and is moved to become a hero.
Also, just the hero's journey in general.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, the hero's journey.
I just heard Brian David Gilbert in my head the entire time.
Yep, same.
Pieces of string outlining things frantically. Yeah.
Yep. I'm trying to bring that energy more into my teaching. I'm excited to see how that turns out.
I love Brian David Gilbert.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful young man. I rewatch Dances Moving every so often.
Good.
Because I find it so emotionally affecting. Also, just to give some breadth from the Hades we have in this one, I do want to share the Hades from the Supergiant game.
Yeah, go for it. Show us the boy.
Look at this motherfucker.
Oh, that's a motherfucker.
I love their art so much.
That's the god of wealth right there. The god of glittering things deep in the earth. That's a thonic god.
That's a sexy boy.
He's a big man.
That's a spicy meatball right there.
And his voice sounds like this. Impudent boy leaving my castle. That kind of shit. It's great. It's a fucking awesome
That's
game.
delicious.
This dude sounds real cool.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Also, nice voice you just did there. Dig it.
Thank you. Yeah. He's a fucking asshole in this one. Every time you die and come back to the House of Hades, he just mocks you.
Oh, good. As he should.
He's just sitting. He's sitting at a desk surrounded by huge piles of paperwork, and he's like,
"So you died again, you bitch."
Yeah, he's like, "Have you decided to embrace your place as my child yet? And it's like, no, Dad, I'm going to go and find my mother on the surface. It's like, bah.
Fuck you, Dad. I'll do what I want.
The dog is sad that you are leaving.
The dog is sad that you are leaving.
I'm so glad that every story about Hades and about gods is just a story about daddy issues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's incredible.
It's good.
Anyway, this is an audio podcast, so none of you listening at home heard that. But go and Google Hades Supergiant to see some really fantastic art.
And the soundtrack is just so good.
Yeah. What's wild is that Darren Korb, the composer for all Supergiant games, plays the main character in Hades. Like, he voices him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Zagreus, the son of Hades.
Fucking love Supergiant. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's that's another aesthetic toolbox that we could delve into.
We'll get to aesthetic toolboxes in a hot second.
Listen,
yeah.
I still have a bunch of links to screen caps for Ask Read Origins, so
put us back on track. What are we actually supposed to be talking about instead of a very fun video game?
All right, so I think that we've talked about a bunch of stuff that we wanted to elevate, heighten, or enhance. Next question is, what are things in the original text do you wish to ignore or remove or erase?
I think it's a little too nice about capitalism in the original text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
it's just like he's getting showered in golden coins, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like Hercules. He gets merchandise and like becomes like super, like lives in a mansion and stuff, and it's like that's not what being a hero is, but it also doesn't ever condemn that behavior.
Yeah,
because obviously it was made by the Walt Disney Company,
who are the biggest capitalists.
Mm-hmm.
Are the biggest capitalists and the biggest proponents of copyright law. Which fuck that.
Disney, don't sue us.
Disney, don't sue us, please.
Don't sue us, please.
All right, what I'm going to write down for remove is wealth being good.
Yeah, also because it doesn't really like play a role at all in anything.
No, it really doesn't. It, like hardly comes up outside of like just like set dressing.
Yeah,
and it's not set dressing we need.
All right, I know the thing that I want to at least downplay or erase is let's find a better version of Phil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's not.
I like Phil, but I don't like a lot of parts of Phil.
He's sort of just an ongoing fat New York Jew joke.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, yeah, but I also like the sort of New York Jew sort of like feeling though, because like as a Jew, it's like, yeah, I empathize with this character, but also like I don't want it to be a joke as much.
I was like really glad they didn't go with the he's craving wealth portion of it, and I'm like, okay, well at least they drew a line somewhere.
Yup.
I mean it's yeah.
Let's like. I still would love him. Like, I mean, I like that he's clearly from New York, that he's down to earth. Like,
he's very much like people who read for the part of Phil like knew immediately that it was being written for Danny DeVito, even if he hadn't signed on yet. Actually, funnily enough, Danny DeVito originally declined to audition for the film.
No.
And so other people like signed on, like auditioned, and everyone was like, "This is a Danny DeVito part. You're writing for Danny DeVito. You're not writing for me." And so they went and they cornered him at a pasta lunch during the filming of Matilda to get him to agree to be in the movie.
Oh my god.
I mean, they also rewrote the entirety of Hades' character.
Around James Woods' performance, yeah. Apparently he was originally going to be spooky. Which he still kind of is. Apparently other stuff that was being pitched around the time were adaptations of Don Quixote, The Odyssey, and Around the World in 80 Days.
Don Quixote would have been a weird one.
Yeah.
A little bit,
also, this Wikipedia page quotes a thing, a passage, a quote where where Musker says that it was a superhero movie. Yeah, we thought it would be our opportunity to do a superhero movie with Hercules.
The joke is the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got your wish, the monkey paw curls in.
I mean, it curls for us, it doesn't curl for them. They're happy.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, Danny DeVito. Not quite so egregious.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's like not who you would think was training a hero.
Yeah.
But I don't like how much his like specifically like all the like not so much auditorially but visually he's an ongoing fat joke.
Yeah. So like do away with that for sure.
Yeah, and like just make him a little bit more nuanced and a little bit just take him just like a little bit more seriously, I think would be really interesting. Like
yeah, especially like after the the quote unquote failures of all of his previous, it's like he got over it very quickly.
Yeah, he like gestures to a bit of pathos in there, but yeah,
he's like, okay, cool, I'll do it. It's like, yeah, you just lost Achilles like how long ago? But also Odysseus, Perseus, all the other Yusses, and Jason.
I don't know how he lost Odysseus. Odysseus did the thing.
Odysseus did it to himself. Just Poseidon, let's be real.
Mm-hmm. That's what you get for messing with Polyphemus.
Yeah.
I think it's Polyphemus, but yes.
Oh, well.
Who knows?
The important thing is to say it confidently.
And that's how all academia works.
Listen, playing Ask Creed Origins was kind of like, oh, so this is how you pronounce things?
God. Yeah,
I'm like, Hermes? What?
Speaking of Odysseus, I'm reminded of that post about how no one would believe Cassandra's prophecies.
Oh fuck yeah! I saw that recently too. I love it.
I thought that was really fun.
Admittedly, I was like looking through all the movies that I owned the other day to see which one we could do for this, and I was just like, oh man, it would have been really fun to do a Brother Where Art Thou and just do another Odyssey retelling.
Mm-hmm. I do love Odyssey retellings. I had one.
Love Odyssey retellings.
Me too.
One about a bunch of like teens trying to find their way to a concert.
I love it.
That would have been fun. But that's not what we're doing here.
Listen, you get me started on Greek mythology, and the problem is I won't stop.
Greek mythology is just so much of everything, though. It's like it all like loops together so much.
Yeah.
That it's like you can't talk about Hercules without talking about all of it.
All of it.
Yep.
I mean, especially considering how much of it they include.
Exactly.
Yes, like I do make a point of it is the 12 Trials of Hercules. Like, you see a few of the monsters during the montage, and then they make a reference to needing to get the girdle from some Amazons, and where else did I write it?
He's wearing the skin of the Nemenian lion, right?
Yeah. No, he's got to get a girdle from some Amazons and cleaning out the stables of a king.
Mm-hmm.
And don't wear your nice sandals. And then, like, he fought the lion and some of the other, the pig, and so on. But we're talking about things to remove, not things to emphasize, which is back on mythology.
Yeah, so what else do we want to sort of deal with differently?
I mean, all of the women are just there, very slim and beautiful, and, the nymphs at the beginning on Phil's Island, and just all of the fangirls and Meg, and then 2 moms, and, like, that's it.
Yeah. There's really not a lot of... I mean, on one hand, there's not a lot of characters in general, but on the other hand, there's even less female characters who are, like, characters and not...
set dressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Fates, and there's the Muses.
The Fates are extremely cool female characters, but, like... I feel like the fact that they're female is, like, part of why they're, like, spooky and kind of villainous.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I mean, they're always female characters. They're always women. The Fates.
Yeah.
And there's always 3 of them. I don't like... Go ahead.
Oh, are we talking about the Fates or the Muses?
The Fates. I forgot the Muses were technically characters.
I mean, they're the Greek chorus.
Yes.
In this film.
But no, I was like, the Fates, the three sisters being like
the spooky old ladies, pass the eye between them.
Right. Like, I like the passing of the eye between them. That's good. But I was like,
it's a great visual gag.
It's also just it's a good gag.
Yeah. But changing their character. The muses are perfect. They can stay. I mean, because again, they're just like the chorus, so it's hard to like fit them in.
Yeah, they're not really like they're characters, but they're not really like characters, you know?
They only directly interact with the narrative in Meg's song.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe one other time that I'm not remembering.
No, that's like the time that they're only like physically with the character, because Zero to Hero doesn't really count.
No, because they're just narrating it, basically.
That's a montage, yeah, and they're narrating it. Meg's song is really the only one where they actually are there interacting with...
And they're like big statues in that one, right?
They're big, yeah, they're interacting within the pieces of the set. So they're on the statues, they're, like, they are the statues. Nice Haunted Mansion reference with the heads, the busts. And then the when they're on the marble like stone where she's like laying against it, and they're like, oh, here, we'll lift up your rose or your flower so you can hold on to it, but they're like within the stonework itself, like at all times. We're not removing things, we're just enhancing everything.
There's I'm sure there's some stuff that we can survive and do without. If I'd watched the movie,
all of us are like, I wish I'd watched this movie again to like remember, because like we're all only like remembering the stuff that we liked about the movie. It's harder to remember the stuff that we don't like about a movie that we like watched as kids.
Yeah, it's hard to remember the stuff you don't like.
Let's see.
We haven't even gotten to me reading Anne Carson yet, so which we're going to. So, I mean, I guess you're just talking about the chorus. So I'm going to read. I came prepared with one thing. I didn't watch the movie. I watched it 2 weeks ago, but I didn't like watch it again. I didn't do any homework, but I did pull up my favorite Anne Carson poem.
Perfect. Read us this Anne Carson poem.
How is a Greek chorus like a lawyer? They're both in the business of searching for a precedent, finding an analogy, locating an example, so as to be able to say, this terrible thing we're witnessing now is not unique, it happened before, or something much like it. We're not at a loss of how to think about this. We're not without guidance. There is a pattern. We can always find a historically parallel case and file it away.
Wow.
Oh. I like it.
Which is
totally
shaped how I think about choruses.
Yeah.
Like, this has all happened before because of the innate failings of man, or whatever.
Yeah. And that's basically it. You got it.
We're here to help you through it.
It's like, we're here to help you through it, here to give insight.
But we're also going to tell you about how you're messing up.
Yeah.
And
it's more for the viewer's benefit than it is for the
characters,
participants.
Yeah, nobody in Romeo and Juliet hears in Fair Verona Where We Lay Our Scene.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move it.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, let's motor.
We'll come up with things, I'm sure, as we get through it.
I think we can do these next two pretty quickly, which is and then we can actually get to play.
Have we not been playing yet?
No, I mean, in the text, this is still before you play, but really, the whole game is like this. It's just
okay.
There's no neat division between what is and isn't. What three things do you wish to incorporate or enfold within the original text?
Like new things?
Yeah, like new elements or elements that are so small in the original, not even really count as heightened.
I want more gay people. Everybody should be gay.
Hell yeah. I think I'd like. I know we've talked a couple of times about the Well of Souls, and I really loved that. I love how creepy it is, and I'd love to like kind of heighten the creepiness.
Yeah. Like, I have like this very specific like idea of what it would look like, and it just would look so much cooler.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'd love the gods to be a little bit more scary.
Yeah, I kind of want to make Zeus a little less of the like goofy jock dad and more of like a actual Zeus.
Yeah. And I'd love to put in some of the stuff with him and Hera. Maybe not to this extent that Myth has, but, you know,
right.
A little.
Yeah. A little more conflict between the two characters who, like, literally never liked each other in fucking when they were really married in real Greek myth legend.
Yeah, like, I was watching the entire thing and I was just like, how much would this movie change drastically if we made Hera the antagonist and added Persephone? And it was a vastly different movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
Man. I love that.
That would be a vastly different movie.
I know.
It would be a vastly different movie. But also, you can't be willing to do an adaptation if you're not willing to commit betrayal.
No, I was like, we don't have the time for that.
Well, we can once we get cracking, we'll see how fast we can. I mean, we shouldn't like rush through it, but like
we're not very fast podcasters.
We're not.
All right, then the last question is, what other texts or stories are closely connected to your source text in your mind? Let each collaborator name at least one.
Superman.
Yeah. Like, original Greek mythos.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's like, original Greek mythos, like anything.
Yeah, this is just like a way to create a body of work that you can pull for imagery or analysis. So I think
I love it.
We've
kind of already done that.
Yeah, we've just been kind of throwing things out there the entire time.
Let's just take a second, though, to, like, just list them.
Yeah. I think definitely, like, Supergiant's Hades and Assassin's Creed Origins are very good aesthetic touch points. They're vastly different aesthetics, but those colors in both of them are very good.
Mm-hmm. And we said, Superman.
Yeah, Superman.
Have
we stopped writing things down since remove wealth being good?
we didn't. Yes. I failed at playing my own game, but it's okay.
Someone should maybe write down some of this.
Zachary's got it.
Hey, thanks, Zach.
Yeah, I've been calling it Origins, it's Odyssey. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm a fake gamer.
We were talking about Dragon Age Origins earlier, so it's understandable.
Probably. Assassin's Creed O.
Assassin's Creed Origin is of course the journey of Bayek.
Yeah.
The first assassin.
Yeah.
Or something, right? He founds it in that game.
Bayek looks exactly like my stepdad, so much that I had to stop playing.
Nice.
That's extremely funny, actually.
Mm-hmm. So Supergiant's Hades, original Greek myth. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Superman.
And Carson. And I think that's it, but we can always add more things later.
Yeah, as we discover them.
This is just building a bank.
Yep.
But I thought we said wealth was bad.
Down with institutionalized banking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean we could just spin off a Superman Hercules. They've already made so many Elseworlds. So those are texts.
Mm-hmm.
They sure are.
They sure
are. All right, now we can play.
Oh, hell yeah. Now we can play.
Not that we haven't been playing, but now we get into, like, the actual role-playing part.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
I'll just read the how to play section, I guess. The primary method of play is discussion and questioning. Start with the first scene in your plot diagram and ask questions about it. Then jump down to the scene level role-playing characters and forces to answer those questions, with the adapters becoming the actors and designers of their own adaptation. Whenever you want, you can make a small or big move from the list. These moves represent changes you made as you adapt the source text and discover what it's going to be. As you discover new plot points and characters and touchstones, add them to the notes. Some notes on play: move freely from higher meta levels of play, asking questions and discussing, to role-playing and back again. Never feel trapped by your level of meta. If you find the need to jump to another scene to answer a question you have, then do so freely. If you find things that you've established earlier aren't working, change them. Pay attention to point of view. Where is the lens of the scene viewing? From what character is the framing device for the scene? Describe images, sounds, smell, and feel as much as you describe actions. Avoid giving concrete answers about setting or world building. Live in the atmosphere of it instead. So
this is a good game.
There's a list of small moves and large moves. I won't read through all of them. The idea is that the small moves are things that like reference or reinforce details, and you earn tokens by doing that. And then you can spend tokens to do things like change a pivotal choice or deliberately betray the source text's intent. So that's how we're going to play, but we're going to start by creating an opening sequence.
Oh, so like how we want our adaptation to start?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to describe a series of shots in montage, which is sort of sets as like is going to help us set a tone for our adaptation and serves as a ritual to bring us into the play space.
I love it.
So just taking everything that we've talked about in the really freaking massive pre-play section, we're just gonna go around the table. I don't know what the order is since we're not at a table.
At the top of the dock, so it's you, Sam, Zach, and me.
Great. And we're gonna each describe a shot in our opening montage, and I think we'll go around the table probably twice, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. It doesn't have to be exact.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna describe well, I guess that's the question. Are we describing Gospel Truth, or are we describing the Baby Herc's introduction?
I guess, yeah, it's like Gospel Truth sets up the history, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
It gives like a very, very broad scope idea of what has happened in Greek mythology and to this point. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you want to stick with doing a Gospel Truth, like, how do you want to portray that history? Being,
hey guys.
Yes?
We haven't decided whether or not our adaptation is going to be including the original sounds, the original music from the movie.
Oh, that's a really fucking good question.
We haven't decided whether or not our adaptation is a musical adaptation of this already musical, a la, Les Mis movie, or if it's not that.
I definitely...
a la, I guess, the Mulan movie, which nobody's seen.
I wouldn't qualify that as a musical at this point.
Well, it's not musical, that's
right.
the point. It's
no, I mean,
not
like,
non-musical adaptation of an originally a musical setting.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the Go the Distance theme that plays a lot in the background,
mm-hmm.
but that is the only theme that really repeats.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I mean, we can still keep it as a leitmotif.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
If we don't have musical numbers.
I actually think, like, the back half of Mulan is probably a great touchstone, because the back half of Mulan isn't really a musical.
No. Yeah, the song's all in the first half, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of stops having musical elements to it completely.
Because it starts to take just a little bit more serious tone. I mean, it's still light, it's still jokey, still trans misogynist.
Yep.
But, like, it's still a Disney movie in the second half, but the sort of sounds move to background music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way in Hercules, right? I don't remember later songs.
The second half song would just be Meg's half. Like, I would say, like, the dividing line there would be, like, Zero to Hero, and then you have Meg's song, but then that's it.
Yeah.
So maybe the entirety of this thing is, like, I'd love to keep the Muses opening song, because I fucking love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it probably then fades to something that's more leitmotif than musical.
Well, see, like, one of my favorite games is Masquerada by Ysbryd Games, and their soundtrack that they have, there is, like, a language that exists within the course of the game as, like, this ancient language that the gods used to use, and there is constantly, like, choral work in the background that uses that language, and it's actually, like, telling events that happen within the course of the story, or, like, that are being referenced to and stuff like that, but in this made-up language. And so I kind of like that sort of, like, vibe to be used, like, for the Muses throughout, to be able to be like, high storytelling, like in the background, high level storytelling in the background that is part soundtrack, part like explanation, but not in a way that we can understand it, so it doesn't detract from what's happening on stage, so to speak.
I got you.
Ooh. So like, you know, like you get like chanting in the background that refers to the action on the screen, but not in a way that like, it's not like a musical number. It's just like a vocal track over on for the background music.
Right. For all intents and purposes, it's vocalization in the background, but it is there are actual words. But, you know, it's like, again, this would establish the quote unquote language of the gods being used to separate this mortal world from the god world. And then, like, you know, being, I guess in that case, the understanding of what's happening in those words would shift between if we're in the god realm and if we're in the mortal realm, like at the beginning and at the end. Like having those two like framing establishes.
So it could be musical numbers in there. I like that.
Sort of, yeah.
It could be cool. Very cool. I didn't know that this game existed.
Fucking love that game so much. Please play Masquerada.
Songs and Shadows.
It's really good. Matt Mercer's in it. It's beautiful. It made me cry through like half the game.
Saying Matt Mercer is in something doesn't mean anything anymore. He's in everything.
I know. But sometimes it gets people to want to play it more.
Oh. He's also like he's like the main character male voice for one of the races in Guild Wars.
Yep.
He's prolific.
Actually, all of the Critical Role people are like very in Guild Wars.
Yeah, I think wasn't the Guild Wars the one where they have like crit role characters, or is that a different? No, that was a different game they were doing.
That was Pillars of Eternity 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also he's in Promare, and I didn't know, and I was like, you can't.
I didn't know that Promare was dubbed. I thought it was a subtitled thing that everybody was seeing.
Both. Anyway, I'm gonna write down that music idea.
And then since we're about halfway through recording, I could really use a bathroom break before we get into the rest.
Let's take a 10-minute bio break.
Hi, it's Dora, and I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed us, please consider leaving a rating on iTunes, telling your friends about us, or tweeting about our show using the FTLcast hashtag. No, seriously, we crave the validation and it helps us out. Your support really means a lot. Thanks again!